All right. So I've got Sistla here from OmniFlix. I'm sure everybody already knows who you are. Maybe they've never seen you before, but
Mhm.
you're kind of everywhere and you span many time zones, it seems. We're going to talk about the Flix airdrop, but also the process of those tokens being basically put into circulation. The platform has been live for over a year. A lot of people that use Stargaze have used OmniFlix, and the platforms are not the same, right? So
Mm.
there there's different features to OmniFlix. Sistla is going to explain Stream Swap, and it's basically a protocol that will. It's an alternative to liquidity bootstrapping and ICOs that we've seen in the past. Sistla, man, thanks so much for working in my time zone today.
No, it's always UTC time zone, always available. So, thanks for having me here, Joe. Been a long time coming. I'll say I've been, following, all your work since I'll say early last year, 2022, and I think around Feb. And after that we've chatted quite a few times. We're there in our
Yep,
mutual groups. I follow your announcements channel as well.
right.
So,
That's right. That's right. And for people that don't know, Sisla is one of the first people that I ever talked to in the space. Like my Twitter was probably like a couple weeks old, and my YouTube, I might have talked to you before I even started my YouTube, or maybe right before I started doing actual interviews. And I have notes from our meetings going back to like probably like February of last year, right? So
correct.
um one of the easiest people to get in contact with, I've got to say, and extremely helpful, extremely helpful. Um, you're also involved a little bit in my collection that I'm going to make announcements about probably next week because it's actually almost done. So so you take kind of like a, I would say Omniflix, because you're everywhere. You guys have a very like almost like boutique approach to NFTs, right? So it's really nice to have you on finally. This is a long time coming for sure, for sure. So
Glad to be here.
um I want to just start off with like there are a couple challenges with distributing a token, brand new
Mm.
token, right? And like I would say in like 2016, 2017, ICOs were big.
Yeah,
I've seen IDOs in the last couple years.
yeah,
O- Osmosis has had those liquidity bootstrapping events as
yes.
well. So there's different ways to do it, but regardless, what are the actual like the goals of the that initial distribution of tokens? What are the goals and maybe the challenges?
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to like split that up
Yeah,
because
yeah,
there are quite a few problem statements that we're handling there. The first one is, of course, price discovery, right? Who
right.
actually sets the price, right? And is it the team? Is it people that actually say got the tokens earlier, or is it the community? And the best way to do it, at least in the Web3 native sense, and from a regulatory standpoint, in every possible way, the best way to probably do it is to ensure that the community discovers the price. And how does that happen? There are a few ways in which, like, uh, since 20 since DeFi actually started, since smart contracts happened on Ethereum, since then there have been multiple ways in which people try to innovate that process of being able to take their token from the primary market, or there was a primary market. That's why that happened, because they had to have like pre-sales, or private rounds, and
Yes.
then this,
So
right?
the prices, you get some price discovery when, let's say, you're pitching to investors,
Yeah,
and presumably they do some analytics, right? And they're going to ballpark the value of the project. They'll ballpark the value of the tokens, and then I'm guessing they want to buy a pretty large percentage of the token supply at a discount, right? So they say,
right,
okay, your platform, all of this, we figured out that it's for round
yeah,
numbers, $100 million. We want 10% of the supply, but we want a discount, right?
correct.
And that to me, that's an okay way to start price discovery, because I think that's how the ICOs were done, right? You have privileged investors who are able to buy the tokens before everyone else, versus liquidity bootstrapping, which I've only really seen happen on Osmosis and also Cardano, where it's a nice idea to have the community discover the price, but it usually happens in such a short window that
Yeah.
I don't think real price discovery happens. Or maybe you could say price discovery is happening all the time, right? So I think there's no perfect way to do it, but the goal is to get the tokens out there and also have price discovery at the same time. Is that correct, generally speaking?
That's right. I mean, in the traditional finance world, right? Like we already have investment banks deciding, the IPO price, right? If
Yes.
you look at a stock exchange, stock market listing, Nasdaq, NYC, the the first problem with that is there is always a, I'll say, a perceived value. There is a value that might need to be extracted. There is a value that there is a value that is set with a where people already know that it might not sustain, right? So these are
Yeah.
all the problems that traditional world had or has, still has. Now when it came to the web3 world, 2016, 17, that's when we've also started hearing a lot more about ICOs. That's when the Polkadot ICO happened, right? Like billion. And we had, I think, EOS with the 4 billion massive raise, and so on and so forth, right? And during one of these months, right, like April, I think April, we had the Atom public sale also happen, right? There were ways to do that, right? And people had to first post on Bitcoin Talk. People then had to like make sure the standard forums, there was like time given for people to like participate. People, participants who were public, the community, they used to send tokens directly to an account with the expectation that they would get an ERC, like an ERC20 token if it was Ethereum, and if it's Bitcoin, they would like in the memo or the wherever they would like send the Ethereum address. Right,
Oh,
like those were crude ways where people tried, right? But it wasn't perfect. And then we had smart contract innovation and so on and so forth. And then came the actual models where people like sent money or like ETH or tokens to a smart contract, and they got like ERC20 tokens, the projects tokens. Right, that was like probably the first attempt towards price discovery, or to be able to solve this part of the problem, right? Not
it,
liquidity, but price discovery.
it's hard, and maybe this is outside the realm of the video, but when you do, you know, an IPO, traditional finance world, it's for stocks, right? And the stocks technically represent like a partial ownership in the company, which means you're technically entitled to part of the profits if there are any. With tokens, it's different because the tokens are used for many different things. They're used basically as money on an NFT platform, right? That's they're also used to pay validators, right? They're used for
Yeah.
staking incentives, and
Yes.
that it's a very complicated economy on an app chain. So that might
Yeah.
be a whole other video, but I think about that all the time. It's like so much
Important.
different.
Yes.
It's so much different than a stock. So,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's very sensitive. Tokens are very sensitive to macro events, right? So Bitcoin sells off 10%, and altcoin might sell out off 50% in half the time. Meanwhile, the stock market might have only sold off 2%, right? So
Yeah.
it's it's very complicated. But we're going to use a specific protocol that's designed to um I think it definitely changes the risk that's involved. Different parties are taking on different risks with an ICO, an IDO, or liquidity bootstrapping event, and we'll demo it in the video. That's probably the most important thing that you guys will see in the video. Second thing is we'll talk about the Flix token itself.
Like just a small point.
Yeah.
To the bottom, I see Flix token drop
Oh,
420.
I'm not allowed to write that.
No, like the thing is that there's just a token launch and price discovery happening. The Flix
Oh, that
drop a bit later. So
Oh, token launch.
yeah, token. Yes.
Okay. My team of editors will fix that. My massive team, they're over here working really hard. Token launch.
Yes.
Right. And by the way, for people that don't know, in the United States, you cannot participate in any of this, right? So, uh, you know, Sissel and I
Right.
have chatted a little bit, and I don't know like what the regulations look like for creators and builders, but the regulations are not favorable in the United States at all, right? That's why we get geo blocked from certain platforms. Americans are never allowed to participate in ICOs. I don't even know if Americans are able to participate in liquidity bootstrapping of like a project token on Ethereum. I don't even know. I've never participated because I just know that I'm going to get blocked, right? So, would you say that the way that you guys are doing it partially was forced upon you because you plan on having lots of partnerships in the United States, right? And you're trying to comply with regulations that are not very clear. Is that fair?
To a great extent,
Okay.
as much as possible. We can never be 100% sure if there's no 100% clarity. And multi-jurisdictional compliance is something where not often you have enough clarity to be able to execute on the right thing. So there are like a list of countries that most apps tend to block regardless. And yeah.
I know the
Yeah,
usually when I sign up for anything, any
yeah,
exchange, it'll say um, not available to customers in the United States, North Korea, Iran.
yeah.
Those are the three places where you cannot sign up for Binance. You cannot like it's oh sorry, no, Binance is only not available in New York where I live. But yeah, most platforms, those are the three places that are big
Yeah.
no-no. North Korea, Iran, and the United States. So but as a result though, you guys had a really tough time doing everything as legitimate as possible. You built your whole platform and you had your blockchain live with NFTs being minted, with kind of some experimental features as well, with no token. And I think that you built a lot of reputation in that time. So people are looking forward to the token launch, but they're already users of the platform in many cases, which I think it should be an advantage in the long run, hopefully, for just like the not only the token, but just like the users of the platform now
Yeah.
there's actual use for the token right away. So I think that's great. And the stream swap protocol for people like me who have never seen any type of liquidity bootstrapping event, it'll be tough to compare it. So we'll try to explain in the easiest way possible what are the advantages of this versus doing it the traditional way. So did I miss anything so far? Do you want to go right into the demo of how it's going to work?
Yeah, I mean, no problem at all. Like, I just want to like add context to that.
Yeah.
Why are we even like going ahead with this approach? We could have like just LP'd, just
Yeah.
started a LP, like aim pool, at whatever price that we wanted to, or the community wanted to, like, with the governance proposal, right? We could have done all that. The thing with this is that this is when it is truly enabling the market or the community to discover the price. Our objective with stream swap, if it were to fundraise, we would have done quite a lot, right? It would have been different, right? With respect to stream swap, of course we want to like capitalize ourselves, as a team, as a protocol, 50% of whatever we actually get out of stream swap will be utilized for POL, protocol owned liquidity, like the rewards like go to the community, and 50% is used for foundation's capitalization, right? And that is the start. And if this is the target, right, again, the objective here is to make sure that the community has enough opportunity to be able to discover the price. And for that, of course, we plan for this. uh, I'll say in 2020, like, we've been working on test nets, deploying our test nets, testing out the infrastructure. In 2021, like, we had our test nets.
Right.
And in 2021 December, we had the Cosmos Vega update. This was an update which included the ODZ and the fee grant modules, right?
Okay.
As soon as that went live, we realized for a fact that there is this opportunity for an app chain to go live without the need to have a circulating token,
Without a
right?
token. Right, right,
Without a
right, right.
token, right?
And
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 yeah,
sorry to cut you off.
yeah,
Um, the purpose of the video is to give people the information, right? How to actually do this so that price discovery is not solely based on the hype of a platform, the hype of a new app, or just like the overall hype that you would
right.
get, especially in a bull market, right? So I know that you've been going to everybody to make sure that the community knows how they're doing this, why they're going to do it, and just why it's a little bit more fair than
Yeah,
ways that have been done in the past. So hopefully people that have been following really appreciate the lengths that OmniFlix team has gone through, especially Sistla. So I'm definitely looking forward to this because you did show it to me in private, and I was like, you know what? I have
yeah.
nothing to really compare this to. So I had to go back and look at how some like ICOs and IDOs were done in the past, and I realized, you know, a lot of projects, the team is either holding a whole bunch of tokens and the vesting schedules are private, or the same situation but with early investors who don't really have a stake in the platform. They just have tokens. They're speculating on very successful launch. They're able to sell into a lot of marketing. And usually what happens, maybe some people that watch this will nod along with me, there happens to be high APRs. There happens to be a very long lockup period for supplying liquidity or staking, right? So people are kind of suckered into this
Yeah,
without knowing any better. They lock
yeah,
up their tokens. Oh, 80% APR, 180% APR. So you see an initial spike in the price, and then the team who maybe has been working for free for a long time, they're going to get paid, right? They're going to dump the tokens, and that happens. And I've seen it happen on Cardano many times. People are talking up, and I actually got offered to get paid to make videos about this. And I said no. I said I don't understand this. I don't know why anyone would participate in this. I am not making a video. And it wasn't a DEX token, it was a project token. I said no, no thanks. So I would rather watch from far away because I'd already seen these DEX tokens launch into a ton of hype, and it literally goes up and then exponentially down forever, forever. And it's the team has to get paid. They're doing a lot of work, and that's it's just how it's been. We'll look at
yeah.
Stream Swap.
Sometimes,
You know,
like sometimes there's no right way to monetize this, right?
I agree. I agree.
Yeah,
There
right.
is no right way. And for a layer two token or project token or a DAO token, whatever you want to call them, the number one use case of the token really is to pay the team. So because you don't always need the token to even use the app, right? Like if I go to Uniswap, I've never had Uniswap tokens. I've
Yeah,
always been able to use Uniswap. So why
yeah.
Uniswap token? Well, I don't think they had one in the beginning, right? They
No, they did not.
airdropped it long after it was
400.
the most
Yes.
popular app. So
Yeah, yeah.
then projects were like, aha, I could launch the token first into a bull market hype. So
Yeah.
anyway, let's look at StreamSwap.
Streams.
People are gonna like this. People are gonna like this, especially if they've gotten burned in the past. So
Sure. Yeah, I like personally too. Like we've been able to like actually work with projects, we've been builders ourselves. That is one of the reasons why we were able to like, get early access to projects, I'll say, or, talk to projects. But there was never an opportunity to be able to like be a part of something like extremely early, right? And in like at least with OmniFlix, we've been active for a while now, like since 2018 we've been there in the ecosystem, Cosmos ecosystem. 2019 mainnets, 2020 like the hackathon Game of Zones that we won, 2021 our test nets in sync. Most people like utilize juno.omniflix.co, Chihuahua, right? Checked, Comdex, and Fetch, to stake their tokens. And then 2022 was when we launched the network again, without the token. So definitely, this is something that we've ended up being able to like, I won't say prove to the community, but we wanted to like build sustainable models. For that, like we had to sustain ourselves first with revenue. Then you should, I mean, we wanted to be in a position to be able to like build that model out, model it in a way that is like long term, right? And hence,
Right.
the model we did.
Well,
So
you guys are, I would say, are more in the entertainment realm of of NFTs and just NFT utility. Um, so the long term thinking is kind of everyone that uses the platform probably has to think in longer terms, right? Because let's say whether it be a streaming service that's gated by NFTs, or you guys drop those collectibles for repeated use of the platform, right? You get that collector's NFT. Uh,
yeah,
that's why I said in the beginning,
yeah,
I don't even know if OmniFlix competes with Stargaze. I think you guys have two different, nice complementary app chains for NFTs. So,
correct.
um,
No, like personally, we too don't look at it that way. We are validators on Stargaze,
right,
and
right, right,
I have Stargaze NFTs myself. So the thing is that it's like we are making sure that the infrastructure for media is in place. The industry and media hub, like that is our focus. With respect to where we are, like whatever we are doing right now, of course, like if there needs to be an asset with IP, it needs a marketplace, and that marketplace should have the capability to ensure your asset is being like listed first, collected by someone, auction, and then of course licensed, right? Like how you see a buy button, we want to make sure that there is this license button where there is on-chain, permissionless licensing of whatever it can be. I know you played Tangle's game, right? Like
yeah,
IBC game, right? Like, we could have traded cards, leased cards for a tournament, and so on and so forth. Right? All of these are possible, right? And yeah, I mean, I'll leave the OmniFlix parts to a bit later, but we are building the media tech infrastructure, if I can say that.
yeah,
And this is not just in the Web 2 realm, but in general, this is media tech. This is, of course, this will be used in the Web 2 realm as well, right? And in the Web 3 realm as well, like how we are working with Akash for their Akash EDU portal and so on and so forth. So,
right.
but yeah, OmniFlix definitely. I'll say we'll utilize Stargaze. We'll make sure we collaborate with them, of course, with the game of NFTs as well. Like we've been working with Iris, Stargaze, of course, teams from Juno, and everyone that was Uptake. Everyone that was there. We were all collaborating, right? Like, of course, there is a competition, when it comes to liquidity, when it comes to like creators, when it comes to collectors, when it comes to communities. But at the same time, if we don't collaborate right now, like at this nascent stage, there is a very high probability that none of us will succeed, right? And yeah, I mean, like here there's no point, like we should increase the pie, not like compete for
That's right.
the
Yeah,
like
because
like the micro liquidity that's available in the cosmos, right?
that's right,
So
especially for NFTs, because when people think of Cosmos that are not deep into they think of Atom. And then if
yeah,
they really do some digging, they'll say there are no NFTs on Cosmos, right? It's 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 a very thin market right now
yeah.
across the board. So I think you're right. The collaboration will help everyone, and kind of at the mercy of the macro picture, right? We need a reversal of some sort, or we need, like, for some reason, like a major Bitcoin surge against the traditional markets, and
Okay.
then everything looks better for the altcoins, you know,
And
layer
then they
two
have
tokens, NFTs, and all
yeah.
that. So, all right. So, what are we looking at right here? This is Stream Swap. These look like liquidity pools.
No.
No. Okay.
Okay.
Everyone that's watching this channel for the first time, now you know I'm a noob just like everybody else. So they look like liquidity pools, but this is like a test net of how
Yeah.
Stream Swap works. Okay. So basically, take us from the beginning. Pick
Yeah.
one pairing, and we'll
Start off.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
So, do you want to like say maximize the screen?
Yep, yep. There we go. Is that good?
Okay. Yeah. Perfect. Perfect. So, actually, I have quite a lot of tabs, but here, uh, I haven't connected my account right now. So, what is this? This is StreamSwap, and StreamSwap is a protocol for time-based token swaps, right? Time-based token swaps. And if you compare that with a Osmosis AMM pool or a Uniswap AMM pool, the difference is that everything happens in an instant. Here,
Right.
with respect to stream swap, things happen over a period of time, right? Like tokens, yeah, the swaps happen over a period of time. And this is a very important factor. This is an important primitive. And yeah, what I'm about to explain is not something that has been like tried out in its exact shape and form, ever before, right? And this is, not just new or a novel way to do execute something, but a very different kind of a primitive that can enable a lot more. So you'll understand what I mean by that.
And the goal here to have this time based swap is the relative prices are going to change over time, um, rather than have, I guess, like instant price action because of one transaction, right? Because I think in a lot of the ICOs, IDOs, whatever you want to call them,
Yeah,
people will ape in the beginning, right?
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
And I think that did happen with Comdex, right? People were people were just like hammering that pairing right in the beginning, and I was like, hey, this is going to be going on for 5 or 6 days. I didn't really understand it and I didn't participate, but like I said, the time-based swap is going to be, I guess, less reactive prices to a single transaction. Is that one of the advantages or features?
yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Because it happens over a period of time, we are like almost eliminating the possibility for like a you know an instant reaction to something. And even if there is someone that's coming down with, say, a lot of capital, right? There's a blip. It won't be a case where the entire stream is affected. It'll be a blip, and then it'll auto correct itself, right? So this is where the beauty of stream swap is, and V1 of stream swap is extremely focused on community driven price discovery and community based launches. So you'll yeah, like I'll just run you through. So actually, Joe, you were right to assume that these look like pools,
They
right?
look like pools. Yeah.
Yeah, of course, the UI and the way we presented something, right? Like Flix Osmo, it looks like a pool. The thing is that I'll help you read one card over here, right? So when we say Flix Osmo and there is a stream ID, there are, say, logged Flix, and this says ends in and says streaming. Now, what does all this mean? So when we say Flix Osmo, the Flix tokens are being logged to be swapped for Osmo over a period of time. How many flicks are logged? Here you can see 10 flicks. Every stream has its own number of flicks. And there is a different start and end time. So there is a different duration. The token might be the same. The pair might be the same. Flicks tokens are being swapped for Osmo. Total number of flicks and the duration, they do matter a lot. With stream swap, these are time based token swaps, right? And what do you create? You create what is a stream. A streamer creates a stream, right, and locks tokens. And here in this case, when we look at one card, someone has logged 10 flicks. The streamer has logged 10 flicks and is looking to swap them for Osmo, where subscribers end up utilizing Osmo to swap their Osmo for Flix. So in this case, what happens is, as a streamer, as a creator of the stream, I do not need Osmo to be able to like fund the stream. I do not need a single Osmo to be able to like lock into the stream. This is where it differs quite a lot from an LBP. If
Okay.
people understand LBP, you need two tokens, right? And then they start at a range of, say, 98.2 or 95.5, and then they end up with a 50-50 balance, and that's when the pool is created, or after 72 hours or something like that, right?
Right, 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 right. And it's 50-50 by value, and not by price, right? So
That's
yeah,
right.
okay.
Right. And yeah, for that you need your collateral token, and for that collateral token there are a lot of gymnastics that you'll have to like go through. to be able to get that collateral token funded. Like projects, should they focus on building or should they focus on getting the collateral token, right? Like just these are some of the ways in which projects have been affected in the past as well, right? And we were also like pretty, you know I won't like we were anxious that we'll have to be able to not only like fundraise as required if we run out of money, but also fundraise for the collateral, right? And we saw Stargaze last year, or in 2021, that took a loan from the Osmosis community pool.
Right.
And that was also a model, that could have been tried, right? But then we were looking at like better ways, right? And then during one fine day last April, I went ahead and had a word with Sunny in the space, updates from the lab Twitter space, asked him when LBPV2, and then incidentally he said, there was some work going on there. Why don't you like join hands? And we were like focused on making sure just the UI is built and like we'll take care of our launch. But then like once we started to get involved, it got deeper. And this is like an idea from the near ecosystem, paradigm research, some tweaks, osmosis tweaks, our tweaks, and everything put together. This is what it is today. And
So
V1
this
again
is so this
is
is
focused on community launch. Yeah.
so you guys started collaborating on this a long time ago, but is this the first time it's going to be used?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. Okay. So Osmosis, OmniFlix, is that why you're going to start with that pairing, and or does this app actually exist on Osmosis?
Not yet. Like, so we have what is the proposal that went live. So you should be able to see that, 483 prop. This is now live on the Osmosis blockchain, and we've received support, from the community. We haven't like marketed it. We didn't like go out asking people to vote, but definitely like the quorum has passed. People voted in favor, and we have all the details of the stream swap here. And all the app URLs, people can compile their contract and deploy it for themselves.
And
And
that's four. You said 483 on Osmosis, and
that's
that's what a developer or team has to go through to deploy any contract on Osmosis, right? So
Osmosis.
it's permission via governance. So yeah, that's
Exactly.
what you guys are seeing. What has to happen before any apps get launched on that chain, which is pretty cool. You guys got overwhelming support. You reach quorum, like you said. So this is the last step, I guess, before you could. Will you test it live on chain, or is that not
Yeah.
necessary? Yeah. Okay. Okay.
I mean, of course, we'll
Yeah.
have
Okay.
to put it live on the chain, before we like share it with the community, like create our first stream and, take it to the next level, with the token launch. Yeah, we'll have a few hours, like, to be able to test that. And we should be able to like, yeah, we are ready. Like we are actually ready with our mainnet app as well. But it's just connected to testnet, right? And, it's contract IDs that need to change, RPCs and like the configuration, test it out, and then we're good to go.
Okay. Are you able to connect a wallet and actually go through some steps to
Yeah.
use this? Cool. Okay. Yeah, so
Yes.
people will get to see what they'll do if they're participating.
Correct.
Um and yeah, so you need your capital wallet, and what do you
Correct.
have to start with?
Cosmos Station is also supported.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay, cool.
right, we should be able to like, yeah, we are planning on other wallet integrations as well. So let's start off with Kepler here. This account has like my tokens. So you should be able to see the faucet. Have some tokens, a lot of tokens, and sorry, if tokens, you should be able to claim tokens. You can claim Osmo, and you'll have to claim WASM as well, because this is a devnet, and WASM is the gas fees, right? So this is where people need to start off with: connect their account, go to the faucet, claim the tokens Osmo and WASM primarily, and then they can start interacting with the devnet app. So again, like I mentioned before, right? How do you read a card? This card means that Flix tokens. Okay, let me go to, yeah, this card, right? Yeah, this card means that Flix tokens were 100 Flix tokens were swapped for Osmo, right? And the stream is completed. The duration was only 10 minutes. This card means that 201 means that Flix tokens, 0.26 Flix tokens are being swapped for Osmo, and the stream did not start. It is in the bootstrapping phase. Now, what does this mean? Every stream has two phases. One, the bootstrapping phase, and then the streaming phase. What is the bootstrapping phase? The time when you like create your stream, from then up until the start time, stream start time, is the bootstrapping phase, right? So you create your stream and then set, today you create your stream and set a start time for tomorrow, for example. From now on up until tomorrow is the bootstrapping phase, right? And this is the time period where there is this fairness also involved, where there are no swaps happening. People can like just go to okay, let me go to a different bootstrapping pool. Let
And
me see.
and
Yeah,
you said people will click on the faucet. That's only on the test net, right? People, what will
yeah.
people need to start with in their wallet to participate here?
In the main, yeah, when this goes mainnet, the Flix mainnet launch, or mainnet token launch, it'll be on Osmosis, because these contracts are deployed on Osmosis.
So
They
they'll need
will,
Osmo tokens or to start?
yeah. So
Got it.
we are
Okay.
starting off with the Flix Osmo pair, primarily two reasons, right? Of course, Osmosis, is the home, for stream swap. But how does that even matter to Flix? The Osmo token has a lot of liquidity, has a lot of integrations, and having that route, Flix Osmo route, will enable us get, be a part of like a lot of swaps, a lot of, opportunities when it comes to bridging as well. So this way, what we're making sure of is to be able to like build that liquidity directly using Osmo. And once we build that liquidity using Osmo, we should be able to add a percentage of it to the LBP, like to the LP, sorry, and the MM pool, and then bootstrap liquidity without having to like swap any token for any token, right?
So
So this is,
this will be like a precursor to the first liquidity pool for people to
yes,
then in the future buy their Flix tokens.
that's right,
It
right?
makes sense, right? And obviously, like you said, it makes sense for this app to be deployed on Osmosis, right? It's
Right.
just and like that token. I probably have used Osmo token more than Atom token since I've been in the ecosystem. I've used it for everything, whether it's
Yeah.
you know farming rewards, supplying everything is with Osmo. It's just it's the liquidity token of the ecosystem right now.
Correct, right? And I think even Tangle's NFTs were first sold in Osmo.
Yes,
So
yes,
50
that's right.
Osmo, right?
I did use Osmo tokens to buy stuff on OmniFlix.
OmniFlix.
Actually, I think I've only used Osmo tokens on OmniFlix. I've never used what is it? Atom Chihuahua stablecoin.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I've
I've
done
only used Osmo, so
AKT and Osmo.
it
Yes.
makes
Okay.
sense. It makes sense. All right.
Right. So yeah, like we've had quite the traction. I mean, I'll say OmniFlix is proud to be the largest, native Osmo NFT marketplace, that exists in the ecosystem. And like I don't think there's any other marketplace that's actually accepting Osmo natively. Like you'll have to swap some token for some token to be able to get there. But this is native, and creators are also happy. They have the liquidity hub sorted, the liquidity sorted, and
Right.
what do they get? It's an easy IBC transfer, and
Definitely.
they have their options open. Right.
So, and by the way,
So,
you just filtered these only for the ones in the bootstrapping phase, right? That's why a whole
oh
bunch
yeah,
disappeared. Okay, okay.
exactly. Right. Like, so here we have the tabs, newest streams. I mean, this is the test net. Like on the main net, there won't be the create tab first. You won't be able to like create a stream, right?
Right.
And
But people can use this now. Are you going to make this link shareable leading up until the 20th?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Okay. So this will definitely be I'll
And
definitely
there's
link
a testnet for those that want to like get a dry run, participate in a dry run. There'll be a trading competition where people will have to like say, if they're interested to understand better, if they want to have the social dynamics sorted out, or understand the social dynamics, they can participate in the testnet that will open up on Monday for bootstrapping, and the streams end on Tuesday. The exact times will be shared, but it's like it's a almost like an exact replica of what's going to happen on mainnet, right? So that is something that we are planning for. And this is, yeah, the right now what you see is like a devnet, no incentives, nothing. You can do whatever you
right.
want. But the testnet, the trading competition, they'll have, like Flix incentives as well. Yeah,
Got it. All right. So as this is bootstrapping, right?
correct.
So
Let me
just
go to a
yeah, click
screen.
on one of them,
Yes,
and people will be able to put Osmo tokens. Are they redeeming Flix tokens, or just adding Osmo tokens, and then at the end there'll be some type of redemption? How's that work?
correct. So the thing is that there are two stakeholders, right? First is the streamer. Let's just say the OmniFlix community is like creating the stream to stream Flix tokens for Osmo. Joe, let's just say you're a subscriber, the
Yep.
second stakeholder, who can end up going ahead and, you can like utilize say 100 Osmo or 1,000 Osmo to be able to subscribe. And because the stream is in the bootstrapping phase, there's no swap that's happening, your deposit is reflected. The shares, total shares in the pool or total shares in the stream increased, and unspent Osmo is like unspent, right? There is no spent Osmo. That's like actually
Got it.
there's no Osmo being spent. If this is the bootstrapping phase, like there's no price discovery happening, as you can see here. It's whatever exists as part of the stream here, logged, subscribed. All of this is getting ready to accumulate these 100 flicks. So at this exact point in time, 747 Osmo are waiting to accumulate 100 flicks. Right?
So
This is
would you
for
say
this.
this is the bootstrapping phase gives people a window of time? And obviously there'll be thousands of people interacting with this. Ideally,
Correct.
it sets up an initial ratio of whatever the new token is with whatever the established token is, right? Flix,
Correct.
Osmo. So a ratio is set up, and
Correct.
then depending on the value, let's say Osmo token's $1, the total
Correct.
pool will be twice that because there'll be half of it, regardless of the number. Half will be Osmo, half will be Flix in a 1-to-1 ratio at the end of the bootstrapping phase. But then there's the next phase.
Uh like
Or
the
is this
one
or am I confusing this too much with traditional LPs?
LPs, yeah,
Yeah.
MM pools, yeah. I mean, here what happens is 100 flicks can't be added or removed. They're like constant, right? We lock these flicks. That's why like they're locked. And as a creator, stream creator, as soon as I create the stream, there's no choice, right? Even if there's one Osmo, all 100 flicks are streamed to the person that deposited or subscribed with that one Osmo. So that's the risk we're taking.
Right.
Like this is community discovering the price in its like fullest fairness, right? Like there's no two ways about it. But at the same time, we believe with all that we built and even future projects that launch, depending on their community, if they're able to attract, say for every one Flix, if you're able to say attract like one Osmo, 10 Osmo, ratio is set, like you said, and that is an estimate of the price at the end of the bootstrapping period. So
Right.
if there is like a longer bootstrapping period, say 24 hours or higher than that, it'll cover span multiple time zones. People will take their time. They'll like go ahead and deposit and be ready, right? If they see that the bootstrapping phase has like a low number of tokens, that is their opportunity to be able to like take it to the next level. And
Right, 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 right.
right,
Okay.
like so this way you're able to assess without the tokens, without the fact that you need to hurry, you need to FOMO, you need to speculate to be able to like get your tokens, get your fair share of tokens. You can like wait for an hour in the bootstrapping phase and nothing happens. If you deposit in the second hour, nothing happens. Everyone's share is like equal. And at the end of the bootstrapping phase, let's just say that like 1 million flicks and 1 million Osmo, right? Or what, 10 million Osmo for convenience sake. Here your ratio is set, 1 to 10. And if someone wants to like say, someone feels that like maybe $10 of Flix might be too high, then they might remove their liquidity. If they feel that $10 of Flix is like too low, then they might add liquidity. So this bootstrapping phase is when the actual decision making when it comes to participation happens, right? And of course there is a streaming phase, people can participate, but most of the times we believe, like based on the 183 streams test that you saw also, we believe that the higher the bootstrapping phase, the better it is for people to discover and participate. Right.
Right. So
That is
how long will the bootstrapping phase be when this goes live?
for the Flix token.
Yeah.
It'll be over 24 hours for sure. Yeah.
So yeah, so it'll span all the time zones. So
Yes. At
um
least once. At least.
at
Yeah.
least. Okay, cool. So people will have a chance, and will people be able to do this on mobile with Kepler Wallet or not yet?
That is something that we are aiming for.
Oh, okay. Wow.
The Kepler team, we should hopefully be ready on Cosmos Station as well. Yeah, these are the plans. And I mean, the app, the UI is ready. It's just a matter of how best we can get the integrations in place and take it forward, right? Because what happens is, the stream swap contracts, they go live on Osmosis on 19th, right? Like
Right.
19th, I'll say UDC, right? Or just late 18th UDC time. And that gives us a window of a few hours to make sure we like get the contracts ready, instantiated, get the apps ready, like make sure everything is ready, and then like go for it, right? And then announce to the public. But yeah, that is something that we are not like planning to have a specific time on. We'll be available from a certain time, but it can be even before that. That's the opportunity that there is. Yeah.
All right. So let's say it's 24 hours.
Yes.
We'll use your example. Um, it's like a 10 to
Million
1 ratio of Flix to Osmo, and then we go into the next phase. Um,
Yeah. So I'll just
this
like
is what
share
will
a,
differentiate stream swap from the traditional liquidity bootstrapping. What actually happens in this? Are people now deciding whether or not to um, remove liquidity, or I now this is the part where I'm not familiar with because I've never seen this, right?
yeah.
So what
So like
happens in the next phase?
yeah, just a few points about the bootstrapping phase.
Oh,
Like
sure.
here, yeah, like here, Flix cannot be added or removed. Osmo can be added or removed at any point in time. That is your freedom for the subscriber.
Okay, okay, I see.
Right? Like, so they can go ahead, subscribe. Now, like I went ahead and let's just say I subscribe with 3,000 tokens, right? Like I'm aping in now. I have like 3,500 tokens. I'm aping in with like 3,000. Subscribe. Yay. Now the shares have increased to 3.75. They were like around 750K earlier. I can also withdraw, right? I can like make sure to go ahead and withdraw, say all of them or like some of them, I have the opportunity. If I don't withdraw, all of these will be available for me right from the first second of streaming, right? If you remember, right, like we said, tokens do not get spent instantly. So my 3,000 tokens also do not get spent instantly. If it's a 3-hour stream, right, my tokens get spent at a rate of like 1,000 tokens per hour, right? And this is what makes StreamSwap special. So let me go ahead to a pool where we have like tokens being streamed. Ideally, I'd like to have a lot of tokens streamed. Okay. And now let's go ahead. Okay, I actually have some tokens here. Let me go ahead, subscribe. Mhm. Okay, now look at what is happening. So this is the streaming phase, right? And in the streaming phase, this specific stream has 1K flicks logged, and there are 157 flicks remaining. And then this stream is accepting Osmo. And at this point in time, we've had 37,000, tested Osmo that were like subscribed with, that people subscribed with. Total spend Osmo is over 8,000, right? So these 37K, oh, so just my bad. These are not like Osmo, these are just shares. Total spent Osmo plus unspent gives you the total, right? So these are shares. These only represent your proportionate participation, within the stream, right? So these are representative. Like the thing is that during the bootstrapping phase, it's always 1:1. You end up like getting whatever you deposit. But as soon as the streaming phase starts, the ways in which shares get computed also changes, and it is exactly based on the percentage, proportionate contribution. So what happens here is, let's just say this specific stream I participated now with 3K tokens. Just let's take a look at what's happening, with all the numbers. I'll start from here, to the top left corner where we have the stream ID. This is important and this is unique for people to identify the stream. There's no stream name, You can have like multiple streams. Like stream ID is very important. Now, if people identify the stream with stream ID, they can see that there are like 1000 flicks that are logged, right? These cannot be changed because the streaming phase started, and remaining flicks, they keep going down. I'll explain about that in a minute.
Wait, let me just interrupt.
Yeah,
So there's not going to be a set number of Flix tokens. Kind of,
there will be.
kind of. Oh, there will be. Okay.
It'll be 1 million flicks.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we haven't shared this uh, no, like anywhere else, but yeah, definitely. It'll be 1 million flicks. Yeah. For Osmo. Yeah.
And that 1 million will be. Wait, 1 million Flix will be what's present in the initial phase.
Yes, that's right. They'll 1 million flicks will be logged. So this means that 1 million flicks are being looked to swap with, are being swapped with Osmo. And these flicks are like constant. We cannot add or remove them. Osmo, that's not in our control. People can go ahead and
Right.
add or remove. Right? Yeah.
Right. Right. Okay. I see. I see.
Right. And the bootstrapping phase in the case of the Flix Osmo launch will be more than 24 hours. That's for sure.
What can we get to this phase?
Mm.
People can withdraw Osmo and also redeem Flix.
Correct. So the
Okay.
thing is that, yeah, let me like again run through the numbers. So here we have like logged flicks, we logged like 1,000 flicks. And then at this point in time, we have like 154 remaining flicks, which means that 1K minus 154, they've all been like, streamed. So 800 and, 56 flicks have been already streamed. Then for those people spent 8.626k Osmo. Now if you look at the average and current prices, right, like the shares represent total shares, that's proportionate. Again, you have your own shares as well, but actually the shares in this case, like they don't matter much, right? But the shares are what like determine the total flicks you get per second. So here what is happening is, yeah, okay, like Joe, I'll like just explain in one line what is happening.
Sure.
Tokens are like being streamed. If there is a 10-hour stream, right, the streaming phase is for 10 hours and million flicks are logged, 1 million by 10, right, which is tokens are streamed at a rate of 100k flicks per hour. So every hour you have 100k flicks streamed. Because flicks are constant, this number is constant. Now, from an Osmo standpoint, also that happens. Hypothetically speaking, if there are like 10 million Osmo and no one adds or removes any more Osmo, then 10 million by 10 every hour, you have like streaming set at a rate of 1 million Osmo per hour. So 100k flicks are being swapped for 1 million Osmo. This is giving flicks a rate of like 1 is to 10, where 1 flicks is equal to 10 Osmo, right? This is what is happening, and this will continue throughout the entire duration of the stream, which will then ensure that for 1 million flicks, you receive 10 million Osmo, which is what is deciding the final price. So the total number of Osmo received for 1 million flicks at the end of the stream determine the final price of flicks, within that stream.
All right. And how long is this period going to go on for? Longer than the bootstrapping phase, I'm guessing.
No,
No.
no,
It's
because the
just that 10. It's just that 10 hours.
yeah, it'll probably be even shorter
Got it.
because
So this is like almost like a slow. It's like a slow arbitrage that happens by community. It seems like.
yeah, you can say that. So the thing is that bootstrapping phase is where there is, so our entire streaming, it might be over 30 hours, well over 30 hours. The bootstrapping phase is majority of it, right? Because that is giving people an opportunity to prepare. Now if someone wants to sleep at the time of the stream, they can happily do that
Okay.
because they won't miss out on anything if they subscribe during the bootstrapping phase. If they want to actively manage their stream, it is impossible for someone to like sit in front of the computer for 24 hours or 10 hours or like 6 hours to be able to actively manage. For that reason, bootstrapping phase is extremely high, and the streaming phase In the case of OmniFlix, will be low, pretty low,
Got it. Okay, okay, okay.
right?
I see. And then everyone that's watching this video is probably going to want me to ask this question right now. At the
Yeah,
end of this phase,
yeah.
do we all just automatically get our Flix tokens and then we can go use them? No, right? Or yes?
Yes, that's right. You do
Okay.
that.
And do they have to actually remove it? They'll redeem it and then
Yeah, let me go to a stream that is like my streams, and let me see if I like
and the other
actually.
question is if everyone redeems their Flix,
Yeah,
is there still a starting liquidity pool on Osmosis?
in a few hours from
Oh,
the, yeah, in a few hours
so
from the,
who supplies those tokens? The team?
we have a budget in the tokenomics, the
Right.
Flix side,
Because that's what I
and
was going to ask. Because this has to be
yeah,
this has to cost you guys something. So
yeah,
based on the end of both phases,
yeah.
you have a deal arranged with Osmosis for this price discovery
Yeah.
will basically dictate the 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 liquidity pool. There'll be a matching amount of Osmosis to whatever your budget is
No,
to.
no, no. Like the thing, we don't have any deal with osmosis. No.
So where's the other pair going to come from? You have to buy it.
The thing is that we have the Flix. From the streams upstream, all the Osmo that the
Oh,
community gives
right.
is being utilized to bootstrap liquidity and to capitalize ourselves.
But then
So
whose Osmo is that? Is that like a community
yes,
like POL or will
POL.
they wow, okay, because they got the Flix tokens in exchange.
Yeah, that's right. I mean,
So
the thing
this
is
is a
that,
lot different than taking a loan.
I mean, s- again, the thing is that we could have like just not done that, and like maybe like went ahead with the liquidity, like so with 5 or 10,000, whatever, and we can like still start to bootstrap that way. That is also an opportunity. Why are we even like focused on this POL model? Is that, like this is allocation from the fundraise. This is not community bootstrapping allocation. Actually, this is, in some ways we are making sure we interact with the community and do it right
Right.
in the best possible model. But even within our allocation, if you look at it in this way, the community has not like 100 million, but they have like 105 million, as their total allocation for the community, because
And
the
is
5
this
million for,
sorry, keep going, keep
yeah,
going. I'll interrupt in a minute.
right, like the 5 million budget that we have for stream swap streams is coming out of like an initial fundraise budget where there was this allocation done before, and of that we're starting off with like one stream with 1 million tokens. That is where we are at, right?
Understood.
And yeah,
So
like,
in the end, it's almost like a protocol owned liquidity, right? Pool. The people that participated, they'll have their Flix. That Osmo stays in the pool. Is that what you were referring to in the beginning of the video when you said that now that's going to earn swap fees
yes.
that will actually be revenue 50% to your team or to development, right? And then the other 50% where?
Yeah, we decided on like a few categories.
Okay.
So the incentives that we get from, as POL, while providing liquidity, will go back as incentives. That's our model.
Oh, okay.
Two will go back as LP incentives, not to stakers, nowhere else, LP incentives. And these will help like sustain, that liquidity for a longer period of time. If this is like one,
I think you're the first person. I think I have like 150 YouTube videos that even said the word revenue in any of these videos. I'm not even kidding. And well, besides me, so so you're going to have a
yeah,
way to fund not only development but at least some of the incentives.
yeah.
So I'm assuming you're not going to need to crank up inflation on the token right away, right? You're I'm guessing there's going to be
Higher inflation.
I don't want to call it a sustainable inflation, but
Yeah.
it's not going to be what we were used to a year and a half ago. Right.
Yeah, these are not like bull market incentives. The
Right.
thing is
Okay.
that, yeah, these are like, the thing is that initially, like, for someone to actually, like, I'll say, you know go degen mode, initially it'll be low liquidity, and they'll be staying inflation enabled. There'll be LP incentives. There'll be, of course, NFTs on the market. So all of these are available right from day one. That is the advantage with all that we built
Right, but
in the
the
past.
main advantage of this is that now with the protocol owned liquidity, you have a minimum amount of liquidity that will always be in the pool, even if you know nobody wants to add liquidity right away. There will be swaps going on, right? So,
That is the
okay,
opportunity.
all right. Now,
Yes.
I see. I think I see the big picture here, right? And
And this is, if you look at it, this is in our sense liquidity injection, right?
yeah,
How do you actually like make sure liquidity flows into the market? I don't think like, I mean, no, I won't like, we won't take like full credit for like whatever we're doing. It's not, means the model of stream swap is innovative. Definitely these could have been done by every project. They'll have to like think hard in the approach, and that is what like we've just taken time. And here, like, our validators are, people that supported us earlier. These are not investors. If they were investors, it would have been bad. But people that actually like supported us even before we were called OmniFlix, right? And these were the people that knew, like, we worked with. These are the people that, they are an advisors. They're people that we work with, and they run their companies. Like, this is the perfect ecosystem to be in, and these are the people that actually help us, rather than everyone that says they'll help us, right? Like, we've ended up working with the right people that help us, right, and take us to the next level. And of course, like, it is mutual. Like, from our end, whatever we could do, we did. And we believe, we are making sure that that relationship is intact. So yeah, like, if you look at it that way, we are like 100% confident that this approach will lead us to a sustainable model
right.
of liquidity injection, right?
All right,
So
and okay. So I think now that I see where this is going, right? This is going to lead right into a revenue model, right? Even if it's minimal because of the market conditions, it's still revenue, right? People are going to not be forced to ape into an IDO or LBE, right? They don't have to do that.
yeah,
There's revenue being generated here to start to fund development and incentives. And like I said, you're the first person that ever used the word revenue on my channel, 150 videos. So people that are watching this video are probably happy if they've been around for the last like year and a half, right? So there's some semblance of a revenue model here.
mm,
Can we talk about now the token, right? Can
yeah,
we get into a little bit? I don't want to go through like all of the tokenomics because, like I said before we hit record, people
mm.
say they care about tokenomics, they really don't, right? So they,
Right,
they really don't, and it's hard to. So, and I got a piece of paper here.
right.
You have you have initially. All right, what's going to be in
I'll go ahead.
circulation
Like,
initially?
I'll give you a snapshot.
Sure.
In like, uh, five. First, total supply of 1 billion tokens, of which 300 million are Genesis supply of tokens. And then there is a 700 million tokens that are being inflated over a period of 7 years, right? And this gives us, a rough inflation rate of between, say 30 to 11%, 33 to 11%. And this is the 100 million tokens that are inflated, that will be, distributed again to stakers, to as staking rewards, people that are like increasing adoption, be it creators, be it publishers, be it communities, be it like the curators, and then the developers, people that are building the infrastructure, right, to increase DAUs, MAUs, and eventually have those like smaller pieces of, on-chain revenue that's like sorted. I mean, not using the word revenue because you said so, but this is our, this is our model. We build these tiny revenue streams, which will like one day, where we should be able to tweak in a way where which will like like deliver like max ROI, right? So developers are like key. And for that, even Juno like model, where there's like a 50-50 revenue share, for developers building on top of Juno, like gas fees refund and so on and so
Right,
forth.
right, right.
These are ways in which, we take inspiration. Like, we'll be extremely shameless about it, right? And we want to like do the right thing, right thing by our community, right thing by this ecosystem, so that it thrives, not just survives, right? And for that to happen, we need to like take a few steps, right? We own the development part initially, right? Like there are like at this point in time, there are like 4 teams that are working on OmniFlix, and teams that do like multiple things, but at the same time, one common vision. We want to increase this to like 40 companies, right? 40 organizations that are like contributing. For that to happen, developers, creators, publishers, these are the important people. Then we have an allocation for node hosts, dedicated allocation, because we are building media tech, because we are building infrastructure for media, content storage, content delivery, content encoding, transcoding. These are all important. Hence, we have the node host. And node hosts without any in protocol incentivization, are eligible. If there is a node host with in protocol incentivization, like our validators, they're exempt, right? We fund out of this budget a tool for validators, but not fund validators, right? We'll fund relayers until there is an in protocol incentivization,
Right.
like we do with our fee grant. Like, our relaying completely happens with the fee grant. I think every chain should like probably end up doing this, or until there's a better sustainable way. Because if users are asked to like pay for like relaying, there might be an adoption problem. If Osmosis did not have that zero gas fee model initially, it would have been like a mess to get tokens. How else would you like get tokens if you can't like use Osmosis, right? Like
Yeah.
there is no way to bootstrap an ecosystem. Osmosis did like a spectacular, like that was like a bang, a bullseye, like that was the perfect way to go about it.
And
And
you know
they
what? They had that at the
and
same
they did
exact time Ethereum had, $200
extremely high. Yeah,
$200 gas fees to do a simple swap. So I think,
exactly.
yeah, I think Osmosis, like that's what made me come to Cosmos. Was I couldn't believe how good it was, because I was playing around with Uniswap, playing around with uh 1-inch exchange, which is, yeah, they're
Yeah,
good, but
they're
at
good.
the
They're
time that
good.
I was using them, for
Yeah,
someone like me, I'm like, it doesn't even make sense to do a swap for less than like 5,000 or $10,000. I could do a
exactly.
swap for 10 cents on Osmosis, right, if I want to, and it's worth it. So, but
Yeah.
by the way, another first on my channel, you said ROI. I'm gonna have to put definitions of these in the description. So it's not funny. It's very sad. But
Right.
I'm joking, of course. But yeah,
Yeah,
revenue, ROI.
yeah.
I think you said budget a few times, but so
Yeah.
300 million at Genesis,
Yes.
somewhat linear inflation over 7 years, roughly.
Yeah.
It will
Genesis tokens. Yeah, exactly. Genesis tokens vest in like 5 years from now. It was actually 6, but Teams tokens were like on-chain programmed, and they got like vested. Now we have like liquid tokens. I mean,
right.
if people like are threatened about like what we're doing, you know, they should probably check out our track record. But like we have a plan to make sure that they're vested back to us, and we are making sure those models are implemented, right?
Got it. And the inflation, you said it's 33 to 11%.
Yes, over
That's
7 years.
because it's in relation to the amount of tokens that are in circulation, but the
Yeah,
amount of tokens being
constant.
are constant, right? It's 100 million
Yearly.
per year. It'll start at 33% inflation only because there's so few in circulation at one time. That's a good way to explain it. Um, so, but for shorthand, about a third of the tokens will be in circulation. How many will be in that initial liquidity pool?
Actually, out of these 300, only about 10% are in circulation, and out of that, you only have 5%, like 5 million tokens that are allocated for streams, of which the first stream will be with 1 million Flix tokens. So
Right.
people that,
So you said a
yeah,
million. Okay. Okay.
right, like,
So
so people that like get these first set of tokens, if they know the Cosmos ecosystem and how inflation works, they can like probably plan well. Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. People have been waiting for this you know launch, right, for a long time. People have used the platform and definitely like it. I I have NFTs that I have to mint this week on OmniFlix. That only like 10 people know is coming. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna get to really take OmniFlix for a test drive this week. I got my NFT mint. I've got. I'm gonna make a gated access video, and now I'm gonna play around with Stream Swap. I'll ask a couple of community questions, and then we'll wrap it up. And
You can keep it like a rapid fire also if you want to.
sure, sure. Um, uh, why did you wait so long for the Flix token? Did it have to do with the market regulations combination, or were there other factors that delayed the token launch?
Yeah, like in 2022 we were ready, we knew we were ready with the tech. We did not have an economic model in place that could trigger this flywheel that we wanted to see in action.
Okay,
And for that to happen, we had to do a few more things, like being able to like get our partners to utilize OmniFlix, being able to like get whatever we want, whatever we planned on, get the base infrastructure ready before we can have the economic launch of the network. So we defined, like we broke it down into two parts: technology launch, technical launch, and then an economic launch. So when it comes to an economic launch, we wanted to make sure that on day one, people should have the ability to utilize the Flix token in ways that they would not have utilized the any other token, right? Like on day
right.
one. And for that reason, we made sure to like build, XYZ, like the studio interface, the on-chain NFT minting, the collection, listing, the marketplace, everything sorted. If that is like one part of utility, of course we have like other apps that are being worked on. So that is, anyways, a future thing. If that is the technical launch, our wait was definitely not because of the market, right? We were actually like very eager. We were ready from a technology standpoint as well as from an economic standpoint mid-year, like mid last year. The problem was that we did not have the the right way to do it. We did not have that tech in place. Two, eventually we wanted to be, I mean, I'll say we'll have to be we need not be compliant. We should be structured in a way where there's no problem. I look at it that way.
Yeah,
We need not be compliant today. Tomorrow, if there is like a, some lame ass rule, or like some regulation that comes on board, we should still be safe. That is our thought process. For
fair.
that to happen, it had to be community that was discovering the price. And for that to happen, it had to be a model where the community could discover price in the
Got,
fairest possible way.
got it.
And that is what we were like building with Osmosis since last year. So yeah,
Nice. And again, people will get to see this firsthand in a couple of days, right?
yeah.
All right.
The
I've
testnet
got
is, I mean, like based on when the video is going out, like the testnet will be live with the bootstrapping phase on Monday,
right.
and
It'll go out
yeah,
today. Yeah,
sorry.
it'll go out today. All right. I'll get one more question. I have a lot of questions for you, but I
Yeah.
think it's better if we do a more general OmniFlix video in a couple weeks because the
Mhm.
community questions are not 100% related to the token. But
Yeah.
one of the questions, it says, are there any plans in the future to allow some type of NFT staking where the stakers of the NFT can earn Flix tokens in the future? Any plans? You don't have to elaborate if you can't, but a hint, you know, for the
Yeah.
people.
Yes, staking.
Yeah.
Yes, staking will exist. The one. I mean, we don't believe in staking just for the sake of staking. It has to
Yeah, of
either
course.
secure the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
chain. It has to like do something.
We agree on that. Okay,
Okay.
for sure.
So, right, like
Oh,
of course, like we discussed this with our fungible token discussion also, right? And yeah, by the way, if you stake Flix right now, you can go to mintscan/omniflix and check out that anyone that has like staked their Flix tokens validators, go to validator page, click on their account, you'll see Atom, Osmo, Juno, Huawei, and AKT in their accounts. Like how Stride does it with their tokens, like we did it with the NFT marketplace commission, like way long ago, right? Like at least like when we started 2022, like Feb, that was when this tech was there. So why was that? It is, a way for delegators, like people that stake Flix, to receive, share of the marketplace commission. This is in protocol fee. This is something that we can share. We can't share what is like, something that we make and then we stake, like give it out to stakers, right? That is like pure revenue share. That's not like legit or shouldn't be done in that way. But like when it comes to marketplace commission, this was something we were allowed to do, or in that sense, in that exact mechanism it worked, it was allowed, right? And we didn't have at least known complications. Hence, that is something that we implemented, right? And if you stake Flix, you get other tokens based on the trading volume. Of course, might not be like extremely significant at this point in time, but also the fact that this mechanism is there means that if there is activity, trading activity with your own token, you can utilize your own token on the OmniFlix market. Of course, like people that utilize Flix will probably not have like some fees, but people that use some other token might have like a smaller premium to pay, but they can still utilize their token without actually having to dump it for anything, right? So this is this is like extremely important to us. That's why the multi-token marketplace exists. Tomorrow you can like build a UI on top of like fork OmniFlix market UI and run your own marketplace, right? Like Joe token, right? Like why not? So all
Might
of
have to
these
do
are
that.
available. Right? And yeah, this is, we wanted to be compliant. We wanted to be, even if there is like some unknown regulation that comes about, we wanted to make sure that we are ready. And hence this model of fair community launch. Yeah.
Well, like I said many times throughout the video, people have been really looking forward to this. I think people really appreciate that the team didn't just launch a token and then worry about the platform later. Platform's good. I'm gonna this week is gonna be like my OmniFlix week. It looks like I'm gonna have a lot of fun. I'm probably gonna DM you 100 times through the night and all that. But yeah, and there are good collections on OmniFlix, right? You mentioned
Yeah.
Tangled. Tangled's one of the first people that I interviewed on the channel. Built a game by himself, basically,
I,
right? So,
yes. I
um,
mean, Tangled's like IBC game is in one sense epic also, because the game is right now being run on an Excel sheet.
I know.
Tangled is like fucking amazing that way.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
oh yeah. No, I'm
You
happy. I'm
probably
happy
edit this, but
that he's
yeah,
been able to get to this point basically by
yeah,
himself. So anyway,
yeah,
I really appreciate you coming on. Like I said, I'll be playing around with all things OmniFlix this week, and we'll definitely catch up once the token's live. People are using it on the platform. Would love to have um, basically like a community AMA, either
yeah.
on Spaces or right here on YouTube. Really
Sure.
appreciate it, man. This has been great to have you. Finally, finally.
Definitely, I'm also very glad. And thank you, Joe, for having me. And thank you for all that you do. Not just for like
I
not
appreciate it, man.
just because I'm here, but I keep watching your content. I like, of course, being in the media space in the cosmos, like I definitely like keep a track of like all that people are working on. But especially with your content, like you go deep. And this is something that people, a sect of people always wanted, where like people went like deep within and asked the right questions, rather than it be more like an interview, or a fireside chat, right? So definitely this focus is something that we appreciate. And thank you for all that you're doing as well.
I appreciate. I get a lot of help. You're one of the people that have helped me multiple times throughout the process. I don't forget these things. I y- when I finally see you at a conference,
Yes.
you'll get the big hug. So
Definitely.
thank
Yeah,
you so much, man. Thanks a lot.
no problem.